What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to start off building and heavily modifying my 2019 Subaru WRX. Now it's time to address the elephant in the room. I have never uploaded this car to this channel. I've barely posted it on my Instagram even over the last couple months, and I've owned this car for right around 2 years roughly. So it's time I stop neglecting this car and take it back to my Subaru root. For those of you that didn't know, I previously owned a 2014 Subaru BRZ. I also owned a 2003 Subaru WRX. I even have the Subaru logo tattooed on my arm. As dumb as you guys might think that may be, when I was younger, it was always my milestone to buy my first Subaru, and I did, and I achieved it. So that was a bucket list check off for me. So here's the deal. This car is already full bolt on, pushing 420 wheel with 377 torque. And it is tuned on flex fuel, so on the 85, it is making the 420. I think it's making right around 350, 360 on 91 octane. Now, I put some serious man hours in on this car before I moved to California. A lot of people are probably aware of the issues that happened within the Subaru community and just any car that is COB supportive with tuning software. A lot of tuners, they ran into the hindrance with EPA and emissions stepping in like they do with everything else, where in order to make a lot of power and delete a lot of the codes necessary to make that power, those parameters were killed off of COB's ECU tuning software. Lucky for me, my tuner was among some of the few on the list that still had extended access to the original software before these updates came out. So I put in about 24 hours without stopping, getting everything fully bolted on and getting it tuned within the week before I moved. Now, the one thing that kills me with this car is the cosmetics of it. It's not a bad looking car by any means. It looks like a very, what I would say, clean, streetable daily car, but that's not enough for me. We are currently sitting on a set of Work CR Kais. These are a 19 by 9.5, I believe a plus 38 offset. Now the difference here is most people do not run 19s on these cars, they run 18. However, I've learned my lesson with bottoming out my car. I already do not have a lot of clearance. 18s would have only made that even less, and I would surely be scraping all over the road. As you can see, my driveway is on a slant, so this car would not be favoriting that. Now back into the nitty and gritty, some of these parts I'm very impatient. I've already bought the parts for the car, some I've even already installed. Now those parts actually include some Sabon carbon fiber bit, which would be the carbon fiber trunk and the carbon fiber hood. I recorded this footage in the past for this video specifically, so I'm gonna go ahead and insert the footage from the day of picking this stuff up at Sabon, and I'll check back in as soon as that's done.
It is Tuesday morning. It is 7:47 a.m. Starting the morning off a little earlier than usual. We are headed to Sabon to pick up some items. Can't spoil those quite yet. But first thing we have to do is head to the throttle shop, go pick up the work truck, and then get back on the road. Hey, let me in, buddy. Is anybody home? It's too early for Tyler. Great, nice. Thank you. Alright guys, we just got to Sabon here to pick up some goodies. We got a hood and trunk for my Subaru, which you guys will be able to see here in a few moments, and then I'm picking up something for the guys at the shop. That, unfortunately, I can't show you what it is. You're just gonna have to make sure that you're subscribed, if you're not already, to the Throttle YouTube channel and keep up to date with what they got going on. But it's something sick, and you guys are going to make sure you check that out. So as always, Throttle will be linked down below in the description. Be sure to go over to that channel and stay tuned and see what they got in store. Now, I'm not going to spoil what I have in store in this video, but if you guys have been paying close enough attention in some of my previous videos, you may have seen a little teaser as to what we have going on with this car. But as far as today goes, it's all about prepping and getting everything ready to start doing so. So the very first thing that we have to do is get this car on jack stands, and we got to start taking it apart. So let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see, we got the car up on jack stands. We already have the wheels off. Now the next step is going to be disassembling the car itself. So what that is going to consist of is obviously taking apart all the bits that are holding on the bumper, get the front bumper off,
We're gonna have to get the side skirts off, and then we're gonna get the rear bumper off as well. Alright guys, we got the front bumper off. As you can see, I have it sitting right here behind me. The next plan of attack is going to be getting the side fenders off, and then once we get the side fenders off, then we should have easy access to get the side skirt. I did just want to pop in and give you guys a little tip. I feel like it kind of goes without saying, especially when you're doing anything in a home garage and you don't have like a full shop access. Ziploc baggies are your friends when you're taking things apart and labeling them. So what I'm doing here, these are all the screws and just the bumper clips and everything that I took off from the front bumper. They will go in their own bag labeled front bumper, and I'm going to do this again for the fenders and the side skirts as well. That way I don't lose track of what goes to what. Alright guys, so we were able to get the driver's side front fender off. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass, however, there's a couple hidden bolts that I didn't know about. So if anybody's looking to do this for themselves, or if you're having issues with taking the front fender off or anything, I'd like to show you where some of those hidden bolts were. So you have the standard. I did end up taking the headlight assembly off as well. 2 bolts here that held on the headlight assembly. There's obviously the harness that it hooks to as well. You have 2 mounting points on the top core support, and then you have 2 here, 1 up here. There's one that's actually hidden underneath of your front window trim, and then you have the 2 top and bottom on the side door panels, or at least on the frame of the car. You have 1 down here, 1 up there, and then there's actually 2 down here on the bottom, hidden behind the side skirt. You have to wiggle in. I used a very small 10mm ratchet as well as a ratchet wrench, but it can be done. So I'm just going to duplicate this process on the other side. There's no point in filming this twice, so I'll touch base with you guys once I get that one done. All right guys, so I just got the passenger side skirt off. Next we have to tackle the driver's side, then it's on to the rear end of the car, the tail lights and the rear bumper. That should be the only thing that I'll have to remove as far as I can think of off the top of my head. And then from there we can figure out what the next plan of action is in building and heavily modifying my Subaru WRX. Nice and easy, side skirts are off. It is now time to tackle the rear. We're gonna go ahead, lift the trunk up, get the tail lights out, pop the rear bumper off, and then that should call it for the disassembly of this car. Checking back in, so we just took the tail lights out. We also took a part of the inside trim off as well. The next part is going to be tackling the rear bumper. So there's just a couple mounting points on the inside, and then you have the ones inside the fender well forward. I'm gonna have to take off this rear tow hook first, but other than that, it should be very straightforward. I'm just gonna pop you guys back on the tripod, get this off, and then we'll pick up from there.